The main character is Shinford Walford, reborn from an ordinary guy from Japan. Now he lives in the forest with his grandfather in a world where magic exists. He has already made good progress in this and hunts wild boars for food. His grandfather, Merlin Walford, was glorified because once the earth was saved from one of the first demons. The time has come and he wants to teach Shin the art of finding people there. He gets it right the first time and notices the demon's aura. Merlin can't stop him and Shin kills him in two. Grandfather and remain in shock from this. Merlin admits that he is not his own but was found next to his dead parents. Shin says that he knew about it, but is still glad to be with him. He is approaching 15 years old and is becoming fully grown. He wanted to visit the nearby towns, and the others scold Merlin for not having taught him anything other than magic. For today's Shin strength, he distributes Blue Flame gameplay. Now everyone is discussing a new problem. Shin wants to take over many kingdoms because of his power. His uncle, Decium von Earlshide, invites him to his magical academy. He turns out to be the king, which Shin did not know about. The three of them, Merlin, Melinda, and Shin, drive to the Vicu, where they are very violently greeted. Their mansion was huge, and the guy had left by inheritance. In the alley, he sees a group of men molesting guests. He parries their every attack and doesn't even arrive. The girls turn out to be very nice and thank him. Their names are Maria and Cecily. They also enter the same academy with him. The girls talk about Merlin and Melinda's events, but he pretends not to know about it. Near the school, Kurt von Ritzburg, the Earl's heir, wanted to belittle him, but Augustus, the son of Earlshide, drove him away because it was a violation of the law. Since he is Uncle Shin's son, it turns out that he was his cousin. In practice, he looks forward to seeing how his peers will use magic. But when he saw that each of them could not detect even a scratch on the mannequin, he was upset. On his turn, he decided not to show all his strength, but nevertheless the target was broken with a blow. It turned out that at the end of all the exams, he scored the amount received. It has long been a tradition at school that the best newcomer should make a speech at the meeting. He is given an enchanted form, but he decides to isolate his other enchantments. It took place in a hall where King Earlshide also looked like. In the corridor, Cecily tells him that Ritzburg is after her. He just appeared from behind and showed that he was proposing to her. August drove him away again, and Shin called Cecily home. He wanted grandmother to enchant her form to protect her. There, Cecily admitted that she only wanted the Republic with her kindness, but she wanted to see kindness and sincerity in her, so she gave permission. But he said that it should not be mentioned because such charms were often found in war. The next day, the teacher decided to give a tour instead of class. There are 3 clubs that you can join. These were Attack Magic, Quality of Life, and Body Language clubs. Julius, the defender of August, wanted to get into his 3rd club and he let him in. Shin was given the opportunity to ride at his club and the teacher decided to help them. Everyone chose the name Ultimate Magic Group and Shin was his president. At home, Kurt's father scolds him for coming out for learning about his sons at the academy. The next day, everyone knew that there was a suspicion on a suspicion on a suspicion. His personal teacher visits him, tells him where to teach a lesson to Shin for interfering. Soon on a walk in the school, his magic is looking for he notices the magic of the demon. It was Kurt. He immediately attacked them, but Shin put up a shield and saved everyone. It was a deliberate death. He instructed August to evacuate everyone and stayed with him one-on-one. Kurt was clearly out of his mind and only said that he would kill. Shin notices that unlike other demons, he has remained part of a human because he can speak. He began to consume energy for consumption. Therefore, Shin had to kill him because he would have destroyed the entire academy. Shin blames himself for killing the man. He suggests that Kurt was just a puppet. King Earlshide arrived at the academy to reward Shin because already half the country knows about his deed. A crowd of students had already gathered in his club, but the teacher Marx came up with an entrance exam. In the end, only 2 people showed up. Mark was the son of a famous blacksmith and Olivia's father owned the most famous cafe in town. Teacher Oliver Schrum was taken for interrogation because it was he who came to Kurt on the fateful day. He said that he was very sad that this happened and the officers called him to investigate this case. At the table, Shin thinks about what kind of sword he would like because he would like a thin and strong sword at the same time. Mark said to come to him after studying because he came up with a sword with interchangeable blades. When Oliver was brought into the kingdom, 100 warriors came out and charged him with the incident with Kurt. He wanted to run away, but after breaking the wall, Shin was right behind it. When he found out who was responsible for Kurt's death, Shin immediately attacked him. During the battle, the glasses that he constantly wore fall off him. Oliver turns out to be a demon who managed to keep his sanity in order. Shin created a huge beam above Oliver's head and fired it from above. When the smoke cleared, no one was there, and the search magic did not find anyone, but Shin was uneasy. The king's advisors immediately came to him and were amazed at his strength. Together, they arrived at Mark's forge, where his father was glad to have such guests. August said the royal family would sponsor all of his purchases. Shin decided to buy a ring for Cecily and give her a protection charm. The day of the awards ceremony for Shin arrived. The king himself awards him the Order of the First Degree and introduces him to the people. He also told everyone about his promise to never use Shin for military purposes. In the morning, he could no longer leave the house because the crowd would not let them out, so he had to use his portal. Shin starts lecturing at the club, and the first thing he wants to do is teach them the magic barrier. He again came to the forge and took his weapon. The sword replaced the blade by pulling the trigger. He also took an ornament to everyone to enchant and give to each member of his club. A war began and demons fought on the side of the enemy. They have already defeated the capital of the empire, and they were commanded by Oliver Strom. The school already told about it and told to be careful. The club complains that at school they are taught more magic than physical combat, but when Shin said that he was trained by Mitchell himself, who is known as the best swordsman in the kingdom, everyone immediately agreed. Soon, their club and sword team were sent to the forest for their first experience with demons. There they were met by Zeke and Christina, who often stayed in Sheena's village at an early age. August offers not to kill the demons, but to leave them to the knights because they believe that they can handle it themselves. In the forest, Shin spots a demon with search magic and informs Zeke. The team of knights was at the ready and the demon, the boar, came out of the thicket. He quickly defeated them, but Shin saved them. The knights understood their position and took command with the mages. After a while, they again noticed the demons on the radar. They were demons, about 100 in number. Zeke gave him permission to attack, and with one blow, Shin left a huge canyon with a wasteland from the explosion. The girl knight apologizes to him for what she said before. Together, the magicians have already reached a good level thanks to Shin. Zeke asks to join his club, but August reminds him that his magic cannot be used for military purposes, and he was one of the royal army. They were already on their way to the meeting point to leave the forest. In the rest of the groups, the knights also tried to appear cooler, but they were also saved by the magicians. At the meeting point, August reveals that Shin's club has grown too strong and they will be taken under the kingdom's control. He trusts them with military news and says that every dead resident of the capital is turned into a demon. Their team is going to Cecilia's mansion for the holidays, which is next to the hot springs. On the way, they are attacked by demons, wolves. They draw sticks to choose who to deal with them. The rest of the residents were shocked by such abilities of children. Upon arrival, all the boys went to the sauna where everyone thanked Merlin for the power they received. Shin understands that when attacked by demons, his team may not be able to cope and wants to become stronger himself. August asks to open a portal to the kingdom because it is difficult to follow the military operations in the camp. They immediately see the bride Elizabeth and May's sister Augusta in front of them. They ask to join them. The king approves of their trip. Elizabeth confesses that she doesn't trust Shin, as August talks about him all the time. He tells Shin that it's time to confess to Cecily. Upon arrival, he meets her in the gazebo in the evening after the hot springs. He decides to confess to her and gets reciprocity, but then friends fall out of all the bushes nearby. They justify themselves by saying that they could not miss such a moment. August warns that even if he is in a relationship, he should not forget about the situation. The next day, Shin arranged a practice with the ball. You could use magic to win, and in the evening, they quietly chatted in the bedroom about their relationship. In the morning, Cecily asks Shin to visit her parents' house. Together, they head there, and he asks for their blessings on their relationship. The father thanks him, and the mother only asks Shin to become her husband soon. In the camp, he again experiments with a new spell, and the rest immediately began to cover themselves with shields. He has mastered the art of levitation. In the evening, they tell Merlin and Melinda that they are engaged. Right now, they want to meet her parents. When they meet, they admit that Shin is not their own grandson, expecting them to rethink their decision. But the parents say they only made their choice because of how much Shin means to Cecily. Soothing protective enchanted suits were ready for the entire team. Shin sends them to the forest to meet with a catastrophic class demon. At first, everyone was scared, but even the mages who focused on support managed to cope with it. King Earlshide held the engagement of Shin and Cecily. Oliver, with his army, has already destroyed the empire and released his people. At one time, he was betrayed for saving slave people from one state, transporting them to another. Rumors about kidnapped girls were spread about him, and people who eclipsed their minds came to his house. His pregnant wife was released, and filled with a sense of revenge and rage, he turned into a demon. In the kingdom of Augustus, they were consecrating princes, but then a messenger came running with a message. He reported about the attack of demons on the neighboring kingdom. August had to reassure the people, and Shin joined him, introducing his team as high magicians. Their detachment went to the neighboring kingdom. Even from afar, destroyed burning houses could be seen. Upon arrival, Augustus gives a speech to the people and promises to take back their lands. Cecily went to the hospital. Seikuma will be possible. The rest is scattered around the city and are killing demons. They kill people for fun because after becoming demons, they had no reason to live. The demon leader made things difficult compared to the others because he had a stolen magic shield. Augustus and Mary bypassed him and breaking the shield were able to kill him. Merlin and Melinda were glad that everything ended without their help. Shin hears loud explosions from the direction of the wall. It turned out to be a particularly strong girl, a demon. After the death of the leader, the rest receive an order to retreat, but Shin does not allow anyone to escape. The demon girl dominates the battle with 5 magicians at once. Shin had already arrived and she was about to retreat. When he chased after her, they decided to create an explosion, but by creating a shield wave, he protected everyone. Everyone returns to the wounded, and Shin arrived at the very time when Cecily almost lost the wounded from life. She cries because she thinks she's useless, but Shin has a crowd of people thanking her. Earlshide's kingdom is celebrating their victory. August and Shin ask the king for a long journey to win this war. Bolivar chastises his men for losing as he warned of Walford's strength and expected more from them.